Oh, there we go. Now it worked. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. And before I get started, one thing I've been seeing a lot this on TikTok, but so many people have been posting celebrations about Charlie. Please don't do that, because unlike Christians, the internet never forgets. And one thing a lot of people don't understand that what they're posting right now is not okay in any sense. Not okay at all. So please don't do that because a lot of them have been losing their jobs, and a lot of people on the internet don't care if you died one day because you're making fun of this. So please don't do that. Just don't do that, and just try to find God in this troubling time right now. All right, everyone. Because seriously, it's been 48 hours since the man has passed away, and I'm constantly seeing people on TikTok doing little dances to his death, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, why are you dancing? What's the dancing for? And they just keep dancing, 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 dancing. And then the next video, it's either them deleting their TikTok account or them crying on there saying that they got fired. Here's one thing: the internet's ruthless. They do not care. They do not care of what you said, what you done, yada yada yada. They do not care. You're celebrating a man's death. They do not care. The only thing they care about is you losing your job, income, and everything else. It is not okay whatsoever. Cause I would never be doing this. Like I never liked Biden. Like I never did. I never liked him as president. But if a person assassinated Biden, you're not gonna see me post a TikTok doing freaking Gangnam style dances while while they celebrate or while they talked about Biden's death. You wouldn't see caught me doing that. But now that we're catching you, here's one thing: the internet's ruthless. Please don't do that. As many times as I'm gonna tell you, please don't do that. It is not okay whatsoever. The internet does not care. It does not care whatsoever who you are, what you are, if you even have a family. They do not care. They're gonna make sure everything about you. I mean, look what they did with EDP. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of a brain. Look what they did to EDP. Look at what they did to him. He was caught being a pedo. Next thing you know, gone, gone off the internet. And he tried coming back in many different ways to every different site. And look what happened. They found him. They searched him. They made him lose every single job possible. Every single job. Lyft driver, try to work at a McDonald's and whatsoever, even a Chuck E. Cheese. They do not care. So please, don't do that. Please keep your beliefs to yourself. Because this is not free speech. It really isn't. Free speech is talking your mind and having a discussion with others. Not you celebrating some man that you disagreed with. Because I disagree with him. But I would not hurt him or his family. I disagree with many people, but I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to kill them. All I want them is to find common ground with them. If we find common ground, I wouldn't mind pretty much talking with them. Other than that, I'm going to be in a whole tangent. And this is all about talking about the Bible today. But I just read it right now, and I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. So get ready for a 40-minute episode, a 40-minute video. Holy smokes. Okay, Genesis chapter 36. This is the account of the descendants of Isu, also known as Edom. Isu married two women from Canaanite, Ada, the daughter of Elah the Hittite, and Obalima, Obalima, the daughter of Anna, and granddaughter of Ziplam of Hevite. He also married his cousin Besemeth, or I can't stop looking at that base math. But Besameth, Besameth, I think that's how you say it. Forgive me for the mispronunciation. I am not good with names. Who was the daughter of Ishlam, and the daughter of Nebiloth? Ada gave birth to a son, Izufla, Iz, Isava, for Ishlu. Betha, eh, Besameth gave birth to his gave birth to a son named Raul. Obileth, Obilam gave birth to a son named Jeush, Jolam, and Korah. All these sons were born to Ishu in the land of Kenite, or Canaanite. Ishu took his wives, his children, and the entire household along his livestock and cattle. All the wealth he had acquired in the land of Canaanite and moved away from his brother Jacob. There was enough land to support both of them because of their livestock and possessions they had acquired. So Ishu was also known Edom, settled in the country and the hill country of Shir. This is the account of Ishu's descendants, the Emadites, who lived in the country and the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Ishu's sons: Eziphleth, the son of Ishu's wife Ada, and Reuel, the son of Ishu's wife Basemath. The descendants of Ishu were Tamana, Omar, Saphol, Gatam, and Kisneth. Timnite, the concubine of Ishu's son, is Elipsa, gave birth to a son named Amalek. These are the descendants of Ishu's wife Ada. The descendants of Reuel were Nathath, Nahath, Zerah, Shalama, Miza. These are the descendants of Ishu's wife Besemeth. Ishu also had sons through Obilemeth, Obilemeth, the daughter of Anna and granddaughter of Ziplion. These are the names of their names were Jashu, Jamal, Jalam, and Korah. These are the descendants of Ishu who became leaders in various clans. The descendants of Ishu's oldest son, Izula, Lizufa, I can't say the names, so forgive me for that, became the leaders of clans of Tamana, Omar, Zobo, Safo, Kanadas, Korah, Gatam, and Alamaka. These are the clan leaders who of the land Edom, who descended from Yazil. These were the descendants of Ishu's wife Ada. The descendants of Ishu's son Reuel became leaders of these clans of Nahamath, Zerah, Shama, Miza. These are the clan leaders of the land of Edom, who descended from Reuel. All these were the descendants of Ishu's wife Bezemeth. The descendants of Ishu and his wife Oliba, Oliba became leaders of clans Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the clan leaders who descended from Ishu's wife, Jalama, the daughter of Anna. These clans descended from Ishu, also known as Edom, identified by their clan leaders. These are these are the names of the tribes that descended from Shur of Horatai. They lived in the land of Edom, Latam, Shola, Sholo, Shabol, Zilam, Anna, Dashan, Izar, and Dashan were the Horatai clan leaders. The descendants of Shura, who lived in the land of Edom. The descendants of Elam, Latan, were Hori and Heman. Latan's sister was also named Timna. The descendants of Shabol were Alval, Manatahath, Ebal, Shafol, and Omanam. The descendants of Zabin were Ida, Anna. This is the Anna who discovered the hot springs in the wilderness while he was grazing his father's donkey. The descendants of Anna were his son Dishon and his daughter Obilama. The descendants of these Dishon were Helama, Heladam, Ishaban, Etharan, and Karna. The descendants of Eber were Bila, Seven, and Akatan. The descendants of Dishan were Uz, Aran. These were the leaders of Horatai clans, Latan, Shabol, Zilam, Anna, Dishan, Zir, Shana. The Horatai clan The Horatai clans are named after the clan leaders who lived in the land of Shir. These are these are the kings who ruled in the land of Iran before any king ruled the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor or Bero, who ruled Edom from his city of Hinaba. When Bela died, Jabal, son of Zir from Bazar, king of became king in his place. When Jabal died, Husham from the land of the Temanites became king in his place. When Shalom died, Hadad, son of Badam, became king in his place and ruled from the city of Avaleth. He was the one who defeated the Medites in the land of Moab. When Hadadai died, Samlah from the city of Masarabeka became king in his place. When Salam died, Saul from the city of Rebuth on the river became king in his place. When Saul died, Baal Hammana, son of the Arbor, king became king in his place. When Baal Hanabal, son of Arbor, died, Hanada became king in his place and ruled from the city of Pau. His wife was Melabol, the daughter of Matar, and granddaughter of Melzabah. These are the names of the leaders and clans descended from Ishu who lived in the places that for them Temani, Avul, Jereth, Obaliah, Elah, Pion, Kanaz, Temla, Mibazar, Meliadam, Iram. These are the leaders of clans in Iram, listed accordingly to their settlements in the land they occupy. They all descend from Ishu, the ancestor of the Edomites. Oh, forgive me. I was holding my breath the entire time trying to read that whole thing. So Jacob settled again in the land of Canaan, where his father had lived as a foreigner. This is the account of Jacob and his family. When Joseph was 17 years old, he often tended to his father's flock. He worked for his half brothers, the sons of his father's wives, Bila and Zerah. But Joseph reported to his father some of the bad things his brothers were doing. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other children because Joseph was had been born to him in his old age. So one day Jacob had a special gift made for Joseph, a beautiful robe. But his brothers hated Joseph because their father loved him more than the rest of them. They couldn't say a kind word to him. One night Joseph had a dream and he had told his brothers about it. They hated him more than ever. Listen to my dream, he said. We were out in the field tying bundles of grain. Suddenly a bundle stood up and your bundles all gathered around and bowed low before mine. His brothers responded, "So you think you will be our king, do you? Do you actually think you will reign over us?" They hated him more because of his dream and that the way he talked about them. Soon Jacob had another dream. Joseph, my mistake. So Joseph had another dream, and again he told his brothers, "Listen, I had another dream." He said, "The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed low before me." At the time he told his dream to his father as well as his brothers. But his father scolded him. "What kind of dream is that?" he asked. "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow to the ground before you?" But while his brothers were jealous of Joseph, his father wondered what the dreams meant. Soon after this, Joseph's brothers went to pasture his father's flock at Shechem. When he had been gone for some time, Jacob said to Joseph, "Your brothers have pastured the sheep in Shechem. Get ready and go, and I will send you them to them." "Go, I'm ready to go," Joseph replied. "Go and see your brothers and the flock are getting along." Jacob said, "Then come back and report to me." So Jacob sent him on his way, and Joseph traveled to Shechem. From there, from their home in the valley of Habor. When he arrived there, a man from the area noticed he was wandering around the countryside. "What are you looking for?" he asked. "I'm looking for my brothers," Joseph replied. "Do you know where they are?" In the Where they are pasturing their sheep? "Yes," the man told him. "They have moved from here, and but I heard them saying, 'Let's go to the Damoth.'" So Joseph followed his brothers to Damoth and followed them there. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they recognized him in the distance. As he approached, they made plans to kill him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Come on, let's kill him and throw him in one of the cisterns. We'll tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." But when Reuben heard their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not kill him," he said. "Why should we shed any blood? Let's just throw him into an empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he'll die without laying a hand on him." Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return him to his father. So when Joseph arrived, his brothers ripped off the beautiful robe he was wearing. They grabbed him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty. There was no water in it. Then then just as they were sitting down to eat, they looked and saw a caravan of camels in the distance coming towards them. It was a group of Ishmaelite traders taking a load of gum, balm, and Erastam slime from Galilee down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What, what will we gain killing our brother? We'll have to cover up the crime. Instead of hurting him, let's sell him to the Ishmaelite traders. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." Huh? I thought someone was calling me. "Our own flesh and blood." And his brothers agreed. So when the Ishmaelites, who were Mennonite traders, came by, Joseph's brothers pulled him out of the cistern and sold him for 20 pieces of silver, and the traders took him to Egypt. Sometime later, Reuben returned to get Joseph from the cistern. When he discovered that Joseph was missing, he tore off his clothes in grief. Then he went back to his brothers, and Lamain, the boy, was gone. What will I do now? And the brothers killed a young goat, dripped Joseph's robe in blood. They sent the beautiful robe to their father with a message. Look what we found. Doesn't this robe belong to your son? Their father recognized it immediately. Yes, he said, it is my son's robe. A wild animal must have eaten him. Joseph had clearly had been torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his clothes and dressed himself in burlap. A man, he mourned deeply for his son for a long time. His family tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. He will go to I will go to my I will go to my grave mourning for my son, he would say, and then he would weep. Meanwhile, Amalekite traders arrived to Egypt. They sold Joseph to Pafior, Pafor. What am I saying with the I? An officer of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Uh, Pafior was captain of the palace guard. Ooh. At this time, Judith left home and moved to Elabam. He stayed there with a man named Harai. There he saw a Canaanite woman, the daughter of Shula, and married her. When he slept with her, she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. He named the boy Ir. Then she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. She named him Oman, and she gave birth to a third son named Shalah. At the time of Shalah's birth, they were living in Kesbeth. In the course of time, my mistake, Judah arranged for the firstborn son Ira to marry a young woman named Tamar. But Ura was a wicked man in the Lord's sight, so the Lord took his life. Then Judah said to Ir's brother Omna, go to marry Tamar, as our law requires the brother of the man who has passed. You must produce an heir for your brother. But Ola was not willing to have a child who would not be his own heir. So whenever he had intercourse with his brother's wife, he spilled the semen on the ground to prevent her from having a child who would belong to his brother. But the Lord considered it evil for Orma to deny a child of his dead brother. So the Lord took Orma's life too. Then Judith said to Tamar, his daughter in law, go back to your parents' home and remain a widow till my son Shelah is old enough to marry. But Judah didn't really intend to do that because he was afraid that Shelah would also die, like his two brothers. So Tamar went back to live in her father's home. Some years later, Judah's wife died. Of mourning was over. After the time of mourning was over, Judah and his friends Hira the Elamite went to Tema to supervise the shearing of his sheep. Someone told Tamar, look, your father-in-law is going to Timnah to shear his sheep. Tamar was aware that Shelah was grown up, but no arrangements had been made for her to come and marry him. So she changed out of the widow's clothing and covered herself in a veil to disguise herself. Then she sat beside the road to the entrance of the village, Elama, which was the road of Tilama. Judah noticed her and thought she was a prostitute, since she covered her face. So he stopped by and proposed her. Let me have sex with you, he said, not recognizing that she was his own daughter in law. How much will I pay you to have sex with me? Tamar asked. Oh, how much will you pay? Yeah, I read that wrong. I'll send you a young goat from my flock, Judah promised. But what will you give me to guarantee that you will send a goat? She asked. What kind of guarantee do you want? Do you want? He replied. She answered, leave me your identification seal and its cord and the walking stick you are carrying. So Judah gave them to her. Then he had intercourse with her. She became pregnant. Afterward, she went back and took off her veil and put on her widow's clothing as usual. Later, Judah asked his friend Hira, the Omalite, Alamanite, to take the young goat to the woman and pick up things that he had given as guarantee. The Hittite couldn't find her, so he asked the men who lived there, "Where can I find the shrine prostitute who was sitting beside the road at the entrance to Enam?" They we never had a shrine prostitute here, they replied. So Hiram returned to Judah and told him, I couldn't find her anywhere. And the men in the village claimed that they never had a shrine prostitute there. Then let her keep the things I gave her, Judah said. I sent the young goat and agreed, as we agreed. But you couldn't find her. We'll be laughing stocks of the village if we went back to look for her. About 3 months later, Judah was told that Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has acted like a prostitute, and now, because of this, she's pregnant. Bring her out and let her burn, Judah demanded. But as they were taking her, but as they were taking out her to kill her, she sent a message to her father-in-law. The man who owns these things made me pregnant. Look closely. Whose seal of and cord and walking stick are these? Judah recognized them immediately and said, she is more righteous than I am, because I did not arrange for her to marry my son Shelah. And Judah never slept with Tamar again. When the time came for Tamar to give birth, she discovered that she was carrying twins. While she was in labor, one of the babies reached out with his hand. The midwife grabbed it and tied a scarlet string around the child's wrist, announcing this one came out first. But but then he pulled back his arm, and out came his brother. What? The midwife exclaimed. How did you break out first? So he named him Perez. Then the baby with the scarlet string on his wrist, he was named Zerah. Oh, okay. And that was longer than I was going to be expecting, to be honest, with all those names. Because I am not good, because these are old Hebrew names. Most of them are supposed to be more for like throat. So Judah, Kira. They're more like, that's kind of why the names are kind of similar in a way. So it's really difficult for me to pronounce some of these words. Because some of these words that you do look at, like Canaanite or Canaan, the land of Canaan, it's like Caanaan. Sometimes it'll be spelled like that, but it'll be said like Canaanite or something like that. But other than that, let's see what we got in this chapter. Nope. So you already saw one part of the verse right there where God killed a person directly, not through like a flood, not through anything like that. Outright smited two people. Now, what were the reasons, and were these two reasons good? Well, the first one was Ir. Ir was slain because he was a wicked man. And people like to say it's in the Lord's eyes, so obviously that must be wrong. But the thing is that God made us in pretty much his image, so he knows the difference between actual justice versus just ignorance. So God knew that Ira was a wicked man because God saw something that many of us don't. Because many of us just hear he's a wicked man in the Lord's eyes. So many of us just say, "Oh, maybe he did tax fraud or something like that." But there's probably more to it than just that. And the other one was his brother, because in the old Jewish law, where the base where most of this basically comes from, yeah, the Lord pretty much requires people to, if the oldest child dies from certain consequences, then the next one would actually take his place and give a child. But the son in this didn't want to give the child, didn't want the child at all. So he basically said, I don't want the child. So every single time, no way. And basically did what he did. And the Lord pretty much said, well, you're breaking a law that I pretty much put down for every single one of you, but you don't want to follow it. So he smite him. He smite these two people, not because he's an evil God, because you kind of see the wickedness that they're doing. One is literally a wicked man that the Lord has been seeing for a while. So there's probably more to this man's story that many of us would have not seen, because God sees everything. And the other one pretty much was denying the woman the child because, well, he didn't want the child because it was going to be anointed to his brother, and he didn't want that. But when God saw, like, hey, you're denying that woman's child, and that is a law that I required you guys to do because I want you guys to be fruitful and multiply, he basically didn't want to do that and denied it all. And a lot of people like to think that, well, Judah did the wrong thing of what he did, or Tamor, but things work in their own ways. Jesus, Jesus, God always has a plan. They always have a plan because when one moves, the other two move. And that's what happened here. So God pretty much said, I'm going to have to get a child regardless of what needs to happen. Because that's the thing that many of us forget, that God does things in ways that you probably never really think about. Many of us pretty much hear like stories of this or that. And many of us are like, how is this supposed to be God's plan? Well, he always has plans for many different things. So yeah, that was pretty much so. So 36. The chapter was mainly just about the story of his brother, Jacob's brother, Issue or Edom, as he was basically called. Basically, it's supposed to go through all his story, and most of these tribes are actually important for later on, because some of these actually, many of them actually are later on in the Bible. I don't remember exactly where in the Bible most of these guys ended up, but many of them ended up at parts of the Bible that many of us are going to actually see later on. So that's kind of why the Bible kind of tells us like, oh, these stories of these people, and they're sort of like moving. Let's see. Now 36 was actually, if many of you seen, was the story of Joseph and the dream and the dream reader. I think that's what it was called. But this is also an old Disney movie that when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is like the freaking story of Joseph, King of Dreams, from an old Disney movie. It was an old Disney movie. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, shoot. But yeah, so it looks like we're going to be following the story of Joseph when he goes to Egypt. And we're going to be following what's going to be happening to him in those places while we follow Judith. which was the brother that pretty much said, "I want to." Basically, I think he was the one that wanted to kill Joseph, but it looks like that's the part that we're getting into right now, which is Joseph's basically stay in Egypt and him becoming the king of, not the king, but I think he becomes like a sort of ruler. And I think from there, I think it's gonna get into one more person, I believe, and then it's gonna be onto Exodus, because we're actually getting closer and closer to finishing Genesis. We're about to end up in Exodus soon. I think by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, we should be in Exodus. But a lot, but yeah, I know a lot of people are probably gonna say that this whole Bible is, the whole Bible stuff is just like Judah had intercourse with a prostitute, got her pregnant. Turns out it was a daughter-in-law. Yeah, that's how the old Bible is. It's not like I said, not every person in the Bible that is quote unquote righteous is going to be a good person. Being righteous doesn't mean you're a good person. Being righteous means that you have favored with God. That's what it is. These people have favor with God, and many of them, yeah, they do stupid stuff, they do stupid things, but many of them find favor with the Lord, and that's what righteous means. Yeah, Judah did that, but many of them will have basically that kind of story. Later down the line, you're going to find tons of story. Even Samson, the strongest person in the Bible, pretty much he does a sin, and but he still finds favor with the Lord. So don't get the two confused. Being a righteous man in the Bible doesn't mean a good person. It means favor with the Lord. You found favor with the Lord, and you pretty much obey His command and His law. So other than that, let's see what's gonna happen. I know, I know we're gonna be following the story of Joseph now, which I, which I think that's gonna be the next chapter of Joseph living in Egypt, getting thrown into the cell and the dungeon by mistake. And yeah, thank you all. And I forgot to say this, but like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow.